Okay guys, this video is a follow-up to our Lab 8 exercise in class. I know some of you were not able to complete Lab 8 in its entirety, so this is kind of a summary. Our specific focus will be on the parallel portion of this lab. But in this lab, you are asked to complete, you're exposed to a REAP table, and you're asked to complete that REAP table relative to a series and a parallel circuit. So this was your circuit. You had a 120 ohm resistor and a 330 ohm resistor. We have them wired in series, and we were able to complete that in the classroom. And many of you were able to get most of the parallel lab completed, but most of you did not get the final information. So this is going to be a review mostly of this parallel portion of our lab. And here again, we have a 120 ohm resistor and a 330 ohm resistor. We did back the voltage down to 9 volts from the 12 volts that was up top here. And as we move forward and began our table, and you know that we were working with our REAP table template, that's this table template right here, you would have been filling out this portion for the parallel. And yes, there are more rows than are necessary. You just need resistor 1, you need resistor 2, and because it's just solely a parallel circuit, you can work with the totals down there at the bottom. We're going to show this today for you guys. I'm going to virtually look at a setup here on Tinkercad. And here's my series lab down here on the bottom. And here's the parallel lab in the middle here. So here's my 9-volt source. I'm coming into my bus lines with my positive on this side, my negative on this side. We split out into 2 nodes, 2 branch nodes. So we're looking at the 120 ohm resistor here, and it is getting more current than the 330 ohm resistor up here. And as Kirchhoff's law says, the path of least resistance will see the most current, and it also says that the sum of the current in to our branches is equal to the sum of the current out of branches. So our total current collectively together makes up our 102 milliamps here. Also, Kirchhoff's voltage law clearly is illustrated here, where both branch loads are seeing the same voltage. The voltage is a constant throughout the circuit there. So you can use these measurements here as are calculated, even though they are measured values here. Use these as calculated. I believe all of you were able to measure your resistance and figure out the total resistance in the circuit. And so use that measured value that you came up with in the lab to do your REAP table calculations. Just as a quick review, when we look at our total resistance in parallel here, it's always going to be less than our smallest resistor. And so the smallest resistor is 120 ohms. It's going to be less than 120 ohms. And what you probably saw was a value of 86, 87, 88 ohms, something like that. If we use the true values of the resistor in figuring out what our total resistance is in this circuit, we can use the product sum method. So take the product of the 2 resistors, 120 ohms times 330 ohms, and divide that by the sum of the 2 resistors. So if I add 120 and 330, I have 450. That works when you have 2 resistance values to go with, but you can also use that to simplify circuits later on that we'll see in the series parallel labs next week. So divide this by 450, and I get 88 ohms. So on a practical end here, we can say our calculated total resistance is 88 ohms. Using that 88 ohm value and my 9-volt source, I can also double check my total current here. So if I have 9 volts and I divide it by 88, I end up with a value of 0.10227 repeating. And that 102 is amps. So 0.102 amps is 102 milliamps. Don't forget to think about your agreement, your decimal agreement, and your units. And when you are charting this, I'm going to do a quick show here of our board. This is the board of our series circuit. And on here, remember, if the most proper way of stating your answer is in milliamps, So in the case of our series circuit, we had a current of 0.0267 amps, but the proper way of stating that is 26.7 milliamps. So if you're working with milliamps, your answer needs to keep your unit consistent. So in this case, I have milliamps times my volts to get my power, and my unit over here would be milliwatts if I multiplied that way out. If I kept it in my base units, amps times volts, that gives me watts. But then I want to convert my watts back to milliwatts. So it's a 3 decimal conversion. Make sure you're familiar with your powers of 10 and how to convert back across. And up here we see those similarities here. So don't forget, keep that in mind. This is from our series portion of the lab. And as you move forward, you need to remember the same thing with the parallel portion of the lab. Now, I've taken this circuit and let's get back here. Here we are in our Tinkercad. I've taken this circuit and I've also thrown it together in the circuit simulation applet. It's a slight adjustment, but this is a little better visual presentation of what's going on. This circuit simulation applet doesn't allow me to put a 120 ohm resistor. Instead, I have a 12 ohm resistor here. And up here, instead of a 330 ohm resistor, I have a 33 ohm resistor there. Okay, and that's because this applet is limited to 100 ohms of resistance. Because of that, everything changes by a tenth. And so notice our current, instead of being 0.027, it is 0.27. So this is 270 milliamps, which is 0.27 amps. And instead of 0.075, it is 0.75. And so this would be 750 milliamps. You add these two together, the sum of the branch currents equals the total current applied by Kirchhoff's law. So, current in equals current out. So our current takes the path of least resistance. We see more current moving here. So you see more of these little electron balls moving here, a little bit faster moving through here. And the greater resistor sees less current. As they come back together, that total current is measured here with this. And also, just to double check here, Kirchhoff's voltage law states that each branch has a source voltage. So there's a 9-volt battery set here, and we got 8.99 accounts for some internal resistance on the meters there, but either way, you see basically the 9 volts over each of the branches. So 9 volts there, 9 volts here, 9 volts there, and then your 9 volts at your source. So we're able to prove Kirchhoff's current law, prove Kirchhoff's voltage law. What you're asked to do is put these values on a reap table, fill this reap table in here for both the calculated and the measured, and you should be able to see that everything adds up. Just one final piece to this, kind of some general concept rules. Remember, we used the product sum method to find our total resistance, so that is the product of the two resistors divided by the sum of the two resistors gave us our total resistance. Remember, current is the sum of the branch currents, so total current is the sum of current at resistor 1 plus current at resistor 2. Remember, in a parallel circuit, the voltage is a constant value throughout, according to Kirchhoff's voltage law. Each branch sees the same source voltage, so there's 9 volts on each branch. That's the constant. And power, like in a series circuit, power dissipation is the sum of all the power dissipations over each of the branch loads. So the sum of the branch loads, the power dissipated at branch 1 or resistor 1, plus the power dissipated at branch 2, resistor 2, is our total power. So make sure you have unit agreement, have your table filled out for your series circuit, have your table filled out for your parallel circuit. You're then going to turn that into the Canvas assignment right here. Answer this difference, how we account, how do we account for differences between measured and calculated. At this point, you should know how to answer that question. Turn this in for grade. And then look further. There's a more detailed analysis of the series type circuit, parallel type circuit, and the series parallel type circuit as we get into lab number 9, series parallel allotments. Hope this helps.